What's going on, everyone?
Good morning. It's a good Monday. Good Monday.
Yeah. Did anybody get any rest over the weekend?
Oh man, I've been sleeping like a champ, dude. Like a champ. I get all sorts of sleep.
Saturday, I was up till 1:30 watching Oregon USC, so Saturday no. Unfortunately, because the game, that's the thing I hate about these West Coast games. The game didn't start for me until 9:45. I was like,
gross.
Are you kidding? And I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep until I know that we won. I was like, I have to stay up and watch the whole dang thing.
I recorded it and watched it the next day.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, not doing it.
Fair.
So,
but
we know you're not sleeping, family man.
I was going to say, if you see bags under my eyes, it's not because I'm a zombie. It's because I'm killing them. And it's a lifelong endeavor, apparently. It really takes it out of you.
Nice.
So that's actually a really good jumping off point, because that is probably the biggest bit of Gala news that this past week, The Walking Dead Empires, they launched their public development demo. It was the 8th, and they're in full swing. There have been a couple small hiccups in regards to some of the NFT interaction with the accounts, because they set it up so that you don't have to use the Gala launcher for this one. So the download came through the website, and you can, I believe, you can launch from the website as well. But for some reason, some of the NFTs were being linked directly to a specific machine ID. And so people that would log out with one account and log back in would find that the new account had the NFTs from the old account in it. And so there's some confusion on the back end as to why those wires are getting crossed. But they're pounding through that. As far as gameplay, it has been pretty cool. We have no cryptocurrencies live in this. The base is not in it. I'm sorry. The land NFTs are in play. They're not being claimed at this point, but they do translate to certain advantages in game. You can start building your base in a higher rarity zone if you have a higher rarity NFT. Obviously, the top zone you could build in is matched with the rarity of your NFT. And then also, apparently, you also get a lot more inventory space in your base if you have a higher rarity NFT. And there are a couple of our team members that were thrilled about that, because they weren't expecting to have any kind of they didn't realize that they were going to have that kind of advantage. And it really, really comes in handy, because a lot of this game is about hoarding resources of all different kinds. And so
you got any screenshots that's going on with the gameplay? Did you get any screenshots?
Well, I guess I can toss this one over. Let me. Oh, this might take a second, but
I'm interested because obviously I have a bunch of assets between myself and Black Harp for Walking Dead, and so we've got a few people that are playing those assets that are able to go through. I myself love this game, and I've downloaded it and I haven't had a chance to play it all. I've been busy trying to kill a deer, and then also my wife got sick, so I've been trying to take care of her all the while trying to kill a deer.
Yeah.
So everything else has gone to the wayside. So
yeah. So this little screenshot right here might not speak much as far as the gameplay. What you'll see there is that flag says 50. There are 60 maximum levels on a base, and this is a little bit of a brag for the Moth Guild, because we as a team have been doing some very serious work in that game.
Nice.
There's a really tight core of us, about a dozen of us who are just regularly in the voice chat, and I would say that consistently, any of the significant like leaderboards will have the top 3 dominated by the Moth, and then as I was writing up the show notes for this, it was the top 3 who were from the Moth, and then they had another like 5 in the top 25. So it's like we're really putting in a lot of work. So that it's a total brag to be able to be at level 50 at this point with the base, even though it looks like nothing. That's actually a streamlined style because we knew that we were going to be like leveling so fast that we were going to have to break that base down and take it to the ancient zone soon. We just slapped down a wooden structure, and the walkers never even got close to it.
Just take it to the ancient zone. I like it.
So I know there was some talk about, what's going to be persistent in the builds going forward, considering this is sort of kind of like that public demo type thing. What do we know in terms of, what leveling is going to stay forward, like what attached to your NFT leveling, might carry forward as the game goes like fully live and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the NFTs are the things that are going to actually carry any kind of persistent statistics. So your hero character levels up within the game, and as you level up, you get new skill points, new talent points, things like that. They have said that any levels that you put onto a character, onto an NFT character, they will persist from build to build if they need to bring it down. Like the idea here is that they will just continue to update what they currently have without taking it down unless they absolutely need to. But if it does have to come down for any reason, when they start the game over, your NFTs should have the same level, which would mean it would give you access to the same skill tree, or the same skill points rather, and talent points. What's really neat about this, as of right now, now everything in the game costs scrap to do something. A lot of the crafting, it has additional component costs. Like if you want to craft your pick or your axe right at the beginning, you have to have some wood and you have to have some stone, but you also have to pay some scrap. They load you with 500 scrap right off the bat. It's kind of to get you started.
Yep.
But if you're not careful, you will burn through that really quickly. There's a real need to be out attacking the walkers, because that's where you get a good chunk of your scrap. That they drop it, not every time, but frequently, and so you can start building your scrap there, and then as you move on and get up to the higher level walkers, they start dropping more and more scrap. So those things that you're able to get by with the scrap in the game, the things that you're able to craft, your base that you're able to build, those are not NFTs. Those are all in-game items, and those are subject to some loss or destruction if they do have to change things around. That the bases will be reset to 1 if they have to set it up again. As of right now, we don't see any kind of alterations in the land NFTs or the crafting station NFTs. I don't know if they have any plans for upgrades for those. As it is, some of the advantages that we're getting from particularly the weapons NFTs, the crafting stations, the forge, there's an ancient forge that the Moth group has, thanks to the efforts of Blackharp in supplying and also preparing the way for the Gala Collective. I kind of wanted to spotlight that a bit because what we're doing, we're seeing some great success, and the point is, I guess Nate, would you like to say some things about the point here? Like, what are we doing with these assets?
Well, right now we're just showing, the ability to give people access to play with these assets, right?
Yeah.
And between myself, my personal account, and Blackharp, which is a business of mine that I own with a business partner, we have a lot of assets within the Gala Games ecosphere, and we've been doing this for a while with Townstar and Spider Tanks and that kind of thing. And that's where the collective comes into play, is the ability to give people access to play, to have a community that's going to be apart, on the same, the same page to move forward and, dominate a game or have fun in a game, earn in a game, and then, all things to be considered in that sense. So that's kind of there. Now these assets are still mine. They're not a part of the collective. That's going to be something that the collective votes on to purchase, and whether they're mine or somebody else's, that's up to the collective to do. This is just showing what can be done with the collective. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean that's core to the Gala Collective's mission as a whole, right? Is one of our main kind of problems we see that we think we can support Gala in is bringing down that barrier to entry so people can, okay, what is the value of actually playing with a crafting station or a forge? Like, what benefit does that give me? Is it worth it? Is that something I want to potentially go and get myself, or is that something I really want to vest myself in the Gala Collective so I can have access to that and be able to play at that higher level? So
right, exactly.
There's so many avenues of how we think this can really support, whether you're a competitive gamer that wants to get an edge in a competition, or if you're just someone that's like, I think I can have more fun if I'm able to utilize this community and the assets that they hold. Let's immerse myself in this group. And, then you have a whole plethora of people to, potentially engage with and learn from, going forward. The amount of resources and knowledge that can come from these games is huge. So
yeah. And it's not, well, we'll get off course and talk about the collective, but this is definitely highlight a part of what the collective can do for people, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a new guest.
That's my lovely wife, amazingly supportive, and
look at you.
She even smiles about it. Like she's willing to be happy about this fact that I'm a gamer nerd and I do it for a living.
Yeah, you obviously married up. Good job.
I'm so thankful.
Is she blind? Can she actually see? I'm just curious. I'm just messing with you.
She can see. She's. You can't tell by her driving though. You just. Anyway.
Oh, it's too good.
No, she's. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I won life with my wife. That's great.
That's the goal.
Talking about people getting a chance to test these NFTs out and see whether or not they're worth getting their hands on. I was mentioning that Ancient Forge. That thing has definitely proven to be good in so many ways. Right now, again, the only currency that's active in the game is scrap. Originally, when they were showing images for the new update, the icon for scrap was actually the dead coin update, or I'm sorry, the dead coin. So their purposes have changed. I think they're still figuring out how they want to integrate a blockchain token. But it seems like their initial plan was to have Deadcoin be that thing that was operating like scrap. Now, I don't know if they need to switch to some sort of situation where maybe your scrap earned in a day becomes your fractionalized portion of the distribution, or they could do it a number of different ways. But what's interesting to see is that the scrap has so many sinks. There's so much utility for it that if you would want to extract, you really would be kind of hurting yourself, especially in the stages that we're at now, where there's so much upgrading and so much leveling to be done. You really need it. Now, these NFTs, if you think about it, the NFTs were costly, and the interesting way that translates into this game is that when you use this, when we've been using this ancient station, the weapons that we can craft from it, it crafts at a 30% rate for the top tier 5-star items. And as of right now, the difference in star levels really translates to durability almost exclusively. We've been looking, and I don't think that there are any other bonuses. Yeah, no, I think all the weapon, no matter what star rating it has, the damage is the same. Sometimes most of the items get also some randomized rolls to them with bonuses for certain things, and even those, we haven't been able to see that they're affected by rarity, but the durability is. And that means that, and it's significantly different. Like a 5-star sword isn't just a little bit of a bump above a 4-star. It is a jump. And you can go out and play with a 5-star sword and it won't break for like hours. Whereas if you were playing with a 1-star, it would just be cracking and you'd have to go make a new one. Well, every time you make a new one, the swords cost the same to make because it's a randomized roll as to what you're going to get in regards to your star rating. And so if you don't have any crafting stations at all, no NFTs at all, you can only craft 1-star items, which means that every single time you go out to play, you're going to be grinding against what you had to pay in scrap in the first place. And so that it's not to say that a free to play player wouldn't be able to stockpile scrap. It's just going to be a much slower process, and it's going to be a much weightier choice to make when it comes to whether or not they're going to extract anything.
So that would be like a benefit of having a really large guild to be able to play together. Right now they're limiting it, right? The amount of people per group that can play.
Yeah, it's limited to 25, and I that might even be too big because the 25 different people can get in and use that ancient. Actually, anyone could get in at this point because of the way that they have it. I think in the future.
Look at you letting out little secrets for people to come in and use the ancient forge.
I think that at this point, the people that are playing seriously, they're looking at everybody's bases and trying to see what they can use. Like some people that are being a little more restrictive, they will wall it within their base, so that you can't actually approach it. And at which point, because you can't go inside someone else's base unless they're in your guild, and even if you sometimes you can accidentally teleport into someone's base, whether it's through zoning or from they have teleport features for different. You can obviously you have your own it's essentially like the World of Warcraft Hearthstone where you can go back to your own base. But they did something really neat with this build where you can also it's like once every 5 minutes you can pick anyone in your guild and go to their base. Well, if you accidentally port into a non-guild member's base somehow, you're stuck there until your Hearthstone comes back or your whatever your base.
Oh, okay, so it's bugged a little bit.
Yeah, they don't have a way for people to be able to get out of another person's.
It's like a hard lock.
Yeah. Anyways, even if you're in there and you approach their say you go to their storage, their weapons rack or whatever it is that you want to kind of peruse, there's a lock on that. You can't even see what's in there. Guild members are able to take things out of your extraneous storage. They can't take anything out of your main storage center, which is at the base of your flag.
Got it.
They can put in though. So if you're trying to level up your base, they can drop all the really exotic items in that they've been able to harvest that they know that you need in order to do this next level. And
nice.
But they can't take anything out at that point. We've been kind of playing around with that. Sometimes we mass dump a bunch of useless stuff into people's faces. Even way, how do you feel about having all of that smoke?
I love it. That's great.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'll have to get in this week and play just so.
Yeah, me too. I need to. Well, what I'm hearing is, and I've kind of heard this, within our server, perusing the Gala Discord server a little bit, and it's, made me happy to see is it seems like people are having fun, right? First and foremost, people are enjoying the game. No, people aren't necessarily worried about the earning side. Obviously, people are trying to level up and be competitive if they, are on that facet of it. But more than anything else, people are that's the fun part about games, messing with your friends. Yeah, let's go fill up your inventory with a bunch of junk that you have to deal with later. It's the little things like that really drive the community aspect of it. And I've been really happy to see that this game is kind of starting to rein that focal point back in of, okay, let's have fun. Let's.
Well, that's something that I was talking with the guys about, that this is the first game that we have that really is a cooperative effort game. Townstar solo game. Spider Tanks, you have a team and you can get in voice chat, but most of the time you're in the solo queue, and you're just getting paired with people randomly. You're working together. You're hoping that they understand it. But how many complaints are there about noobs who don't know the game mode or whatever? This time, you log in and you're in a guild or that's an alliance for the game, but you're in that alliance. And like I said, we constantly have the alliance chat up that we're able to step into voice right away and start talking to each other, working together to get certain tasks done, reach certain goals. And all of a sudden you find out that there's these people that you've been typing to in Discord, just kind of like saying hey to or tossing memes at. You have real conversations with them. And it's just like it's so interesting to build relationships this way, and that really does add to the fun. And so I really am glad to see this game out and succeeding. But I really believe that a large portion of it is due to the multiplayer aspect, the way that we are all in this together simultaneously, rather than kind of locked in our own little strategy bubble trying to accomplish something solo, regardless of whether or not there's some sort of team aspect built into the game. It gives me great hopes for Mirandus as well, because it's going to be very similar there.
Setting the stage for, The Walking Dead Empires is a great game, but Mirandus is just, next level when you look at.
Well, Mirandus is going to do a continual play too. Like they're going to roll that out. December or January? The next update or next live play is going to be continual play.
Yeah,
so that'll be great.
That's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot coming right now in terms of games. I feel like, which is, I mean, we knew it was coming. We knew it was all going to kind of hit once it rolled. It was going to really start rolling, and we're there. So,
and the team aspect is something that's interesting. Like, okay, so Champions Arena, the Pierre from Champions Arena posted it was actually like an apology in Discord. He says he knows that the community has some things that they're not happy with. They've made a bunch of suggestions as far as changing it to make it better. And he says he knows that it looks like they've been moving slow on some of this stuff, but that there were some very specific things that they were focused on. They're very focused on building out the system for the Nexus items, so that the delegation system, the rental system, can be operative in order to help bring in new users, new players. They've also apparently had some like a significant number of hack attempts trying to get in and break the game. So I don't know how hard they have to fight back against that. I don't know if it's something that's just they've got good passive things in place, or if they're actually having to do something like live as these things are going on. But so Champions Arena is that it's that turn-based RPG style game, and you've got Eternal Paradox that has some very similar features to it, but it also has that open world 4X element to it that brings in that community play. It brings in that sense of making sure that you're talking back and forth with your guild mates or teammates. I think they're going to go with the term guild for that, because it would make sense for some kind of like fantasy era game. But you will have reasons to be talking actively with other people. You'll be strategizing as a team, and I think that'll help build that game very well also. We got some news recently about the image right there being shown. There's a dragon, what do they call the Dragon Fortress skin. It's actually pretty cool looking. Again, it is a skin. It just makes you look different, but I kind of want one. So I'm like, do that. I'm really excited about Paradox.
The power of skins.
Skins are huge.
I mean, dragons are dragons. Either you like them or you don't. But like, if you do like them, it's kind of neat to be able to grab hold of one that.
Customization and personability, like being able to, personalize thing. I mean, it's been successful in a ton of games so far, so I don't doubt that. I think it still has room here.
Yeah, so Hendrickson kind of showed off that image, and then he also posted something. They said last week that they were going to start saying things about lore for the mercenaries in the game, which are your hero, the equivalent of your heroes. And the recent post, the way that it was said, it indicated to me that they're expecting to start selling NFT mercenaries soon. So I think they're probably going to run an NFT sale in advance of the game launch, and then we should be getting a date from them soon about when we can see Eternal Paradox go live.
I mean, why wouldn't they run a NFT sale beforehand? I mean,
well, the NFT sale for the Champions Arena, that was really successful. They sold out of all of those NFT boxes in advance, and so I think the community would support something like that. I think there's enough interest. People that weren't able to afford land or didn't see the reason to get land, they'll understand the reason to have the NFT heroes when they come out, and if they publish a light paper that has any kind of indication of the way things are earning, people are going to want to get their hands on them to be able to at least get something from it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they got to be careful with that whole thing, though, right? Because the moment you say, "Here's our roadmap, here's our light paper of how earnings are going to be," and it outlines, these what are they called, mercenaries? Yeah, and it outlines these mercenaries of what the potential earnings can be, and then they do a sale for that, and specifically they do the sale to help fund the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, how is that not a security? I mean,
well, okay, so their statement has been that none of these things have been necessary to actually fund the games. That the games had already been paid for. I can't check the truthfulness on that, but that's the statement out there, and maybe that's just to cover their skin. But because Gala is a big operation, and so maybe they. I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. I'm just saying.
I'm just curious. It just sounds interesting.
That's what they said. They said these games already have enough money to be done. Okay. Either they are done and paid for, or they have what they need to be paid for. But then those sales end up representing maybe, I guess, what they're trying to communicate, or the way they're trying to say it, is that those sales represent profits for them, things like an actual income for them in advance, and so that gives them something to budget for in regards to server maintenance costs, continued development, things like that. So
that's still a security.
Oh well, that's a tough situation. Then
we'll let the lawyers in courts deal with that one.
Yeah, I think they won't come out with a light paper beforehand. I mean, that's you make the game, you sell the NFTs. You don't have any sort of earnings tied to it whatsoever, and you just own this NFT for this game. It's cool. Yeah, it costs you $150,000 for this land, but you like it. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to do some earnings, and here's how the earnings are going to play.
Well, maybe that's why they have been doing it that way. Like the light paper for Legacy didn't come out until after the launch. We had this understanding that there's going to be earnings in the game. And there are these NFTs, and you can do the math as to whether or not you think that the way to get any earnings is going to come through the NFTs. And then the light paper hits after the mechanisms are in place already. So maybe that's one of the reasons that they have been going about it that way. Probably.
I mean, still, it's the idea is there. I mean, we'll speculate. We can move forward.
Yeah. So this week's Ahead of the Game, it did feature some stuff about Eternal Paradox. There was a discussion there. Prior to that, Bitbender had actually gone on his Twitter. I'm going to jump back a bit here, Blake. He went on to his X account, and he said that he's going to give away 3 uncommon enterprise deeds for Legacy. I think you had to retweet and drop your Gala chain address. But that promotion, or that opportunity, that giveaway seems to still be going on. I haven't seen an update on that. So if anyone wants to get their hands on an uncommon Legacy deed, go ahead and follow that link there. I guess we can put it in the description. Like and subscribe. Oh, this isn't YouTube, is it?
Well, no, we're streaming on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Go ahead and.
What do we stream to? YouTube. Oh, it's up here. YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess there's the plug for all the standard stuff. I think
There you go.
I don't know why everyone feels like they need to say that, or if they do feel like they need to say that, I don't know why they're so embarrassed by it. It's
Well,
like,
they do it. I mean, because a lot of these guys that are doing it, they're trying to make a livelihood out of streaming, whatever it is that they're streaming about. So,
sure.
In order to get monetized, you need subscribers and likes. You need all that stuff that's going to be there to get monetized. We're not doing that. We're just here to give you guys information. Hence why we only have 3 followers.
Well, I mean, maybe it's not
Everyone
exactly
starts
related,
somewhere.
but it's why we don't care that we only have 3 followers.
Actually, it was funny. Glitch through gaming the other time was like, "Hey, I'm at the same followers as Forged in Crypto," and he was making a joke because it was 69 followers. So we are at let's see, 75 subscribers on
All
YouTube.
right,
Look at us go. I don't think you
Slowly
get
grow.
monetized until like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, if we keep showing gameplay like this, maybe we'll get there. This is from ahead of the game. They some of the community managers were running around in the game. It was on November 4th, a few days in advance of the launch. And this is their gameplay footage. They were at the very end. Well, I don't know. This doesn't. Yeah, at the very end of the stream, they found a horde, and they decided to like go after it, and I think they all died. I don't think they were ready for it.
Well, this guy's
the
on
way
fire.
they're running around looks like they're all gonna die.
Sonny's on fire. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing too hot.
One of the people running around in there is Anita, who has been. I guess she's got a ton of different roles, but she's been kind of.
Yeah, I've met Anita before.
Yeah, she has been
super nice.
Bitbender's like support role. She handles making sure he gets to the right places. They were joking about how she's the one that like hands him energy drinks when he looks like he's about to fall over and stuff like that. So, but anyway, they brought her on, and this was her first episode. Apparently, they're grooming her to take over on Ahead of the Game. So she's going to be she's co-hosted. She co-hosted this last one, and this upcoming week she's going to be flying solo. So it'll be interesting because like I don't know if she has the same kind of information base that Jason has to work from for the AMA portion of it. But obviously, if she works there and works with him, she's going to know a whole lot, and she'll have an idea of what she can and can't say. But it'll be interesting to see how the show changes. One of the other things that they announced is that there's also going to be a new show called In the Game, and I know that Nephilim Haas is going to be a part of that, and I can't remember who the other one was. I just remembered that as we're discussing it, and I didn't put that into the show notes. But the new one, I believe the format there, rather than just talking about what's going on across the ecosystem, they're actually going to be discussing specific gameplay, strategy, things like that. And so that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, we see that in a lot of other blockchain projects. In Web3, just the updates of like, hey, we added in. It's one thing to say, here's the patch notes, here's everything we added in, or here's the tweaks we made. It's another thing to be like, oh, here's what this looks like now. Like here's the changes, and it's a more visceral experience, so to speak. And I think it's easier to digest that information.
For sure.
Yeah, and people love to see people playing the games, especially if they're like good at them. I know that Haas is a gamer, and he's been really good at a lot of stuff. He's particularly he's been able to shine in Walking Dead Empires. He doesn't get the same time as the grinders that the moth are gathering together. I don't want to. I did put this into the article for this week. I didn't want to just like brag about the moth. There's some real heated competition. Gem has a really strong alliance, and then apparently Everglen and Gem have like a merged alliance that they're calling it Evergem Glenland. the point is that it's the two of them, like it's like members from both sides that got together in order to like to be and they are also very competitive. Other guilds like ecosystem guilds that are in there. I've seen the Masters of Materium in there. I've seen Pack in there. There's a lot of representation from all the traditional names that you see chatting things up in the Discord channels. But the Moth and Gem and this Everglen Gem hybrid, they're really a step above. There's this real top level competition. Moth is pulling away from everybody though. We're pretty sick.
You announced it now. If one of them actually hears what we're talking about, the Moth pulling apart, they might all just band together and become the Evermom Glen
anti-Moth.
Blah 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 blah.
What's cool is that you're restricted to 25 members, and so you're going to need to have the 25 best people in the game. And unfortunately, right now, like we've got the top 3 or 4 and a lot in the top 25, and so it's hard to keep pace.
Competition's good.
But we are without being boastful. Like this can be a call out. Go ahead, give us a hard time. Get in the game, push us. Let's see where this goes because we have intentions. We might hit level 60, like cap the Blackheart base. We might do that tonight even. Like
I like it.
We're kind of committed to really, really pushing in this.
So we need screenshots, need video takes, because then we'll start calling them out on Twitter and stuff. Like this.
Oh yeah.
Let's play the game, man.
We have been really cool so far about not being those guys. We're like we let the egotists be in second.
We won't make it. We won't make it outright. Like
there won't be attack.
You guys suck. It'll just kind of be like, oh look what the Moth did.
Just maybe like a little. It's lonely at the top.
Just a few little things. And we might tag them in it.
That image that I shared earlier, the one with the 50 base, that was actually what I posted in. That was the first thing I posted in the Walking Dead chat since the game started, and I just said, "Moth is really enjoying this game." Bam, level 50 base.
and
that was it. Just like
drip them, just drip the little bits on there.
Yep.
Love it.
That'd be good.
So
it's all about the gameplay. It's all about the fun banter back and forth. So,
what's going to be interesting is when it's already started. There's 4 different PvP zones, and we've for a while we were running around in there because there's just a lot of really good resources in there, but people are starting to like camp out in there and wait for you. So we're really starting to see that pick up, and that's where you'll really get a chance to see who the gamers are. Who's surviving in there the longest, who's racking up the most PvP kills.
Yeah, who's communicating, who's coming in together as a whole team to go in and actually kind of dominate and get resources.
There's a lot of strategy.
Tons of strategy to it, dude. I like it. It's fun.
That's neat. There was quite a bit more ahead of the game. They showed artwork from. I think it's the last thing that I heard from the team is that they are now working in Unreal 5.3, and so they showed some artwork, and it was far better than any of the test stuff that we've been looking at. And that's been. I think it was much further back. It's like much closer to the beginning there, Blake.
Closer to the beginning.
So they've done a lot of like community games. You can jump on a server at any point now. Like there's a bunch of people that are hosting their last expedition nodes, and so you can just click on a live server and get in and play. Obviously, you need to have people to play with and against, but you can play even now. It would be before that even because it was.
I didn't see it on there either when he was scrolling through there.
Oh shoot, maybe it wasn't. No, anyway. It's just some images. There were static images, but
which
anyway.
Game?
So there it is. There
you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So they posted up some static images. If you look at these, this is not what we've been playing in, and this is what the game is going to deliver. Like this is, this is really good stuff. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
one of the major complaints that I was hearing from people that were getting in and like, oh, it looks like crap. It's like, dude, they're not done. They just want to let you play it in advance. Don't bite their heads off for being nice to you. This is what it's going to look like. This is the I don't even know if this is the final rendering. This is just where they're at with it right now. I mean, that's some really
Looks awesome.
good stuff. It does. So
Yeah.
that's a great update because it really kind of silences that was just about the only negativity that was coming back. There was they had Dendy and the B8 or Bait team on to play, and those guys were saying that the weapons handled really well. They liked the gameplay, the way that it flows, and of course they were gonna they weren't done with that either. You know, there was a lot there's plenty more polish that can go into that. So the game itself, the core game, is what they were locking in first, and now they're going to make it pretty, and apparently it's going to be real pretty.
Nice.
So that could be a real winner too. Poker Go Play has a new update. They did some format changes around for the cash games, but one of the big shifts is that new daily challenges can earn sweepstakes entries instead of just chips.
Oh.
So, or I'm sorry, it wasn't chips. It was experience. It was experience for your account, which can be applied to your NFTs in order to level them up. That has they've now allowed sweepstakes entries to be earned through those daily challenges. And this week they're calling it a double ticket format, whereas normally it takes 1,000 chips in your take to get a sweepstakes entry. This week you can get it only takes 500, and so you're still capped at 100,000 maximum sweepstakes entries per event per week. But you can rack them up faster. I'm sure there was a lot of people that weren't getting to the 100,000. There was a
There it is.
That was a good time for that. That was a good time.
There's half a pause, so I threw it in there.
Running at the mouth, trying to squeeze it all in.
Plus, we're getting close to 45 minutes. You know how it is.
I know. They did get the Spider Tanks week 1 anniversary rewards out, the component rewards and the honor rewards. Week 2 is wrapping up. I think it's either today or tomorrow that it'll be the end of that. So if you're going to get into Spider Tanks, you're running out of time to get have the advantage of this these prizes being dangled for us. Spider Tanks. Another thing that I saw about Spider Tanks is that the Moth Guild has Moth Madness, where it's like a weekly competition to see who's going to grind the game in order to be able to qualify to pilot certain tanks of like the highest rarity tanks. They suspended that this week in order to migrate that to the Gala Collective. So again, touching back on what we were discussing earlier, there's already a player interface that's working that is going to bridge these assets to the players. It's
this one just started.
Okay, yeah. So Moth Madness is already pretty well battle tested. It's been out for a long time, and every week, every week you get a chance to play according to the Moth Madness objectives. Your scores are tracked. That's largely through work with Rostakip. He does a lot of really great tracking information on NFT guilds. And so at the end of the week, if you win, if you're at the top of that, you get to choose the best tank for yourself, and you can pilot that and get whatever rewards you can out of it. And that's not just going to be reserved for Spider Tanks. That's gonna expand into all these other games. Right now, Spider Tanks is the most logical one because it's the only one that has a simplified rental system, or the pilot system, where you can just like slap it in a drop pod and send it to somebody. Right. The delegation back end work is really important for all of this stuff. That like we do have a workaround. There are ways to make sure that people can play, but it's really good when the game devs themselves put something in that allows for an owner to pass it to another person without the NFT itself leaving their wallet. A lot of games have seen this. Even my favorite one to reference is Splinterlands. Splinterlands has, I believe they've nailed this. Splinterlands, you can rent your cards on an open rental market, but you can also just hit delegate and send those cards to your friends or teammates, and it's just a click of a button. They're on the Hive blockchain, and so the way that works is far different than Ethereum. But you have X number of free transactions before things start to slow down for you. But the NFT stays in your wallet. You're just delegating the utility of that NFT to someone else, or you're renting that utility to someone else. And we know that it can be done. And I think that's a really, they were talking about the Eternal Paradox. I'm sorry, the Champions Arena Nexus. That's a real onboarding thing. I see that as an absolute there. You really need to be able to have people that have bought a lot of these assets be able to pass them in some way to a player that may either couldn't afford them or wasn't there for the sale or whatever, and then get it into their hands so that they can actually be playing, and that'll help build the community. So I do really like to hear when they're talking about that directly. Yes, we're working on the Nexus. We're working on a pilot program. We're working on a rental system. Those things are really important because there's a lot of people that have a lot of assets, and there's no way that they're going to be able to use them all. And then the players are looking for them, but there's no way that they can necessarily afford them all. And so like there's been some great work, Moth and lots of other groups too that are finding ways to like work around. But if it's actually in the game already, that just simplifies the process, and it makes it a better situation.
100%. Everybody that's making a game has to implement that within the game. Like you have to.
Yeah.
So.
The final game update from ahead of the game was Legends Reborn. They showed some new card art. It's the style is the same. They look the same. They're really featuring the new card abilities, which were interesting. Like, not going to go into the nuances of that this time. We'll wait for them to actually give us a little bit more meaty stuff to chew on before we talk about any kind of in-game strategies. But they did remind us that the team does have a build that they're working with, and they're just polishing it up so that they can get it out to the community. Obviously it's not going to be a final iteration, but Legends Reborn was really good about getting playables to the community over and over again before who was it? Kung Fu Factory, before they stopped work on it. Now that it's back online, now that Gala has that in-house, I think they want to keep the same thing going, but it's a smaller team, and so they have to step a little bit more carefully to make sure that they get all their T's crossed and I's dotted and everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then I guess one so there was the Miranda's tech update from Jason Hughes. Once again, just like keeping us informed, letting us know what's going on. A couple really cool things that came out of that. He let us know that your exemplars, you can now name them uniquely. So if you have multiple exemplars, when you would log into the game, that just had your Gala account name, So I was running with my wife's account, so I was running around as Mommy Pants, and that was my fault. I named it. She hated it, but like it's so Mommy Pants racked up a bunch of goblin kills.
Love it.
Can we officially change your name to Mommy Pants now?
well, Mommy Pants is in the Discord. We just never use it to talk.
Oh, I love it. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I like that. That's great. I'm excited. I got a bunch of exemplars. And I know I have my son, he's so excited about Miranda. So being able to name one, not give him one. It's too expensive to give him one, but name one. For him. Yeah, that'd be great. Another
thing that he mentioned, they rearranged zone spawning so that when you like, let's take the example at the Citadel gate. They had people that were leaving the Citadel. They zone into the Narrows Landing, and there's a brute at the gate, and the screen just shifts to them being dead and or being revived on the beach. They have no idea what happened, because really what happened is they zoned in, the brute saw them, smashed them, killed them, and then they had to like reload the game.
Got it.
They've kind of rearranged the order that things load now. So the entire scene is going to load first, and then your character is going to be the last thing that loads in, and that's going to give you at least a chance to get away. You know, like you'll get dropped in there, and you'll see the whole environment rather than having the environment see you and then come after you. So that's a good quality of life adjustment. And then lastly, let's the Common Ground World Town Hall was Friday morning, and they were they're constantly addressing questions about everything. You know, everyone wants to know about earnings, play to earn, or play and earn, or the daily challenges. Everyone wants to know about different plans for the game, and the when are the nodes going to be NFTs, all of those things. Right now, the game team is focused on building out the guild structure, and that is tied to those NFT nodes. They need to be NFTs before they launch. They gave a little bit of a sequence of things that have to happen. And so largely a lot of what's waiting on what Common Ground World is waiting on has to do with the fact that there is so much other work that the chain team is doing right now. They have many games out right now. They're preparing for bringing on third-party developers, and so the prioritization is like, who knows exactly where Common Ground World falls in that. It is obviously important, because they're not going to mint the founders nodes until they've minted the Townstar nodes into these Common Ground World nodes. So there's a lot of pressure to get it done, but they still have some other things that are coming up as more imminent, I guess.
So the Townstar nodes are going to be before the founders nodes?
I think they're going to be like kind of the test run.
Okay. So Brink came out last week and said that node licenses will be NFTs by the end of the year. That is the plan. So still pushing for that. So we'll see.
One of the cool things that they did talk about in regards to guilds. So we knew that your guilds having a guild was going to be based on having a node, and your nodes are upgradable. So you'll be able to merge nodes, and then you'll also have to use some of the there's in-game items that you can win. So even people that even people that are going to receive a lot of nodes based on what they paid for their Townstar nodes, they're still going to have to engage the game in order to earn certain components to upgrade their nodes.
Right.
They could just sell them. They're going to be NFTs. But if they want to use them to improve the strength of their guild, there's going to be an in-game play aspect that they have to engage. But then, so we knew that there was going to be upgrading for that. We knew that it was going to include a lending library. It's not going to be a rental system. It's going to be a delegation system. But there was a question looming as to, so who puts stuff in the libraries? You know, the size of your lending library, your guild's lending library, is going to be based on the upgrades that you do. But we didn't know who it was. And Volcron said that as of now, they're making it so that anyone would be able to put an NFT in there. So a lot of the guild owners are going to be larger asset holders also, you know, people that have been in Townstar for a while and build up a really big collection. But even, I mean, I've been playing Townstar since 2020. I have a really big collection, but there are still pieces that I don't have. And so I was like, do I have to join someone else's guild to be able to get that one thing in order to be able to flesh out this particular build? Well, if I have a guild mate that happens to have that item, he'll be able to put that in the lending library, and I might be able to use it.
Okay.
So
you add your stuff to the lending library, and then anybody in the guild can utilize whatever's in there.
Yeah, it is only one person at a time. They're not allowing multiple iterations of it. It's still one NFT equals one usage, but everyone in the guild is going to kind of be able to pool their stuff together, and obviously, like, each week they run the same meta, so it's going to be a question of who do we push this week, essentially, who's got the best shot at this, who needs the best NFTs.
Right.
And they talked about they haven't said anything specific, but there's going to be guild play. There's going to be interesting things for the multiplayer aspect. I like where it's headed. It's been a long time. There's a lot of people that are that have experienced pain at the hands of Townstar. But I really am hoping that the community just holds on and at least wait and see what they're building here. I think there's some cool stuff going on. This week's meta is chocolate pies. They just introduced that as a product, and they are putting a chocolate fountain NFT on sale from on Monday. That one's going to have a passive cocoa effect, and it's also going to increase the speed of your chocolatiers. That kind of thing. I'm a big fan of the passive items. Anything that's going to allow me to, like, essentially take out an entire phase of the game. I like to jump on those. Again, 2-1, man. I got hammered twice.
You have so much to talk about. That's all.
Well, they're feeding me, man. I'm just watching what Gala is doing and trying to give an honest account of it. Let's if you want me to slow down with my talking, you got to talk to them about and tell them to stop building.
No, I don't want you to slow down the talking. I want you to speed it up a little bit so I can get it done with in a narrow time frame.
So talk less about things. Then I feel like I haven't given my community what they need.
Nah, we're good, man. I'm not too worried about it.
Listeners need to know everything.
Every little bit. Yep. Bring it on.
No, it was a full week, and I'm probably gonna take a nap and then get back to Georgia because that's where the walkers are.
All right, dude.
Love to hear it.
Love it. Well, thanks for the updates, man. I appreciate it, and look forward to reading the article.
We'll get that out today, and we'll be back here same time tomorrow or next week doing the same thing.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.